trying to steel myself for what is about to come.
But I got from coming from a credible source who got it from 3 other credible sources that this is what's going on.
Hey, welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel. Feelings hurt while you wait. I'm Lee Curling with my co-host, Rick Sutton. And today, I'm not even going to ask Rick what we're going to talk about because I know we're going to talk something about some weird rabbit hole, rabbit shooting. Go ahead. Just tell me what you're telling me before, because this is just some crazy Fed thing that some lunatic came up with.
So, first and foremost, we already did a podcast about what I thought was some of the dumbest shit I'd ever heard of called one-man CQC. And I thought I would never hear of a tactical concept that was more asinine than that.
Well, and let me say, that video will probably air after this one.
Okay.
Because
this is emergent.
Because this is March 25th. So generally we're pretty far ahead on podcasts, but this one will be out before April 1st.
Yeah.
And it's not an April Fool's joke.
No, it is not. So, as we said, one-man CQC, spoiler alert, asinine idea. We'll get into that later. I thought nobody was going to surprise me. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. So I'm not going to name drop because confidential source, but it's a guy you know, and I spent years shooting with this guy. He's a squared away dude. And I'm going to throw this out for those of you who don't know. In my other life, I was a special agent with Coast Guard Investigative Service, which is the Coast Guard's version of NCIS. So I had to go through all the same training that NCIS went through for Coast Guard. More sister organizations, right? Work with those guys, good bunch of dudes. So a buddy of mine from NCIS called me and said, I need to run something past you that's a tactical concept, and I want your take on this. And then he told me, and then I was like, okay, dude, it's not April Fool's. And he was like, no, this isn't a joke. So this is the silly shit that they're coming up with. So there is a tactical technique and concept that is being taught apparently by the NCIS React team. That's their version of SWAT team. Called the rabbit tactic or the rabbit technique. Okay. And it is a concept for 2-man room clearing for CQC and for building searches, not for immediate action on a active shooter situation, which is a whole nother animal, right? Where you run to the sound of the guns and you do what you got to do when you get there. This is we think that there might be a bad guy in the building and we're doing a building clearing room to room search. 2-man technique. This is amazing. So, one guy, ready for this? Gun in hand, sprints like a rabbit into the middle of the room. Doesn't work the corner, doesn't work the door, not limited penetration, none of that shit. Just boom, hey diddle diddle, right down the middle, right into the middle of the room, fast like a bunny rabbit, thus drawing the attention and likely the fire of the armed bad guy who's in the room. And person number 2, once the first person gets fully into the room and stops, then the second person then enters the room and now has the tactical advantage because the bad guy is busy shooting at the first guy so he doesn't see the second guy, who then has the advantage of, oh, I know where the bad guy is because the bad guy's shooting, so I'm drawn to gunfire. And then he engages. And I went, dude, stop. Quit fucking around. And he said, no, dude, this is being taught. I said, you're full of shit. He said, no. He said, I have spoken to 3 different guys who went to 3 different training sessions, and all of them called me and said, dude, have you heard of this shit? And they all described it the exact same way. And my buddy was like, you're kind of up on tactical stuff. You did tactical stuff, and you know a bunch of guys who are actively engaged in tactical operations. Now that you're retired, you still talk to those guys, so you kind of have a toe in the community. Have you heard of this? And I said, no. And the way we know that I haven't heard of it is I haven't done a podcast about it. Because if I heard of some stupid shit like this being foisted upon people, I'd Paul Revere it. This is absolutely fucking bonkers, right? And then I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm just a fogey. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I did my best to objectively come in from every other angle that I could think of and find out, okay, why might this be a viable option? Well, first problem is it can't be a viable option. It can't be, because what we're saying off the get-go is there's only 2 of you doing a building search, and you've just decided one of you gets to get shot.
Right.
Now, how the fuck do you pick who gets to go in first? Because I got news for you. I'm not going in first. It ain't gonna happen. Rock, paper, fuck you. Yeah, no. Rock, paper, here's my dick. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
Okay. So let's stop for a second, because I don't know how long you went on that rant there. That was a pretty good one. Beforehand, when you first mentioned this to me, and of course, Rick was going to spring this on me during a podcast.
I couldn't wait.
He couldn't wait. He could not wait. My initial thing is, whoever came up with this has never been shot.
Oh,
and I've never been shot, but
I've been
also
shot at.
has never been shot at.
Never been shot at.
Right. So, but the only thing I can think is that in some genius's mind out there, who's only ever done any training where the opposing force has the same level of shooting expertise as they do, correct? That you're taught to shoot center mass, so therefore I'm going to run in, and this guy with a pistol is going to shoot me in my vest. Therefore, I'll be okay. Because I guess because on the TV show, when those guys get shot in the vest, they just keep running. Because that's not reality, though. But the reality of life is, that is about the most asinine thing I think I've heard. It is not like it is an emergent requirement.
Yeah.
It is not like we are downrange in a combat situation where you go,
we're taking fire from that fucking building, and we have to clear that building.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's not what this is.
And it's not like we're pinned down and you need to move, draw fire so we can get off the edge.
Yeah.
So, right. This is, I have made a conscious choice as a law enforcement professional to enter and put myself in the line of fire so somebody behind me can hopefully shoot the person that has shot at me.
No.
It sounds ridiculous.
No. And that's my thing, right? And I used to do this all the time when I was a detective. Right? And I'd interview some guy who's feeding me some line of bullshit about, how he didn't commit this crime. And I'd let him go through his spiel, and then I'd go, okay, here's what I want you to do, sir. I want you to slow that down. I want you to say that at less tempo than you just said, and then tell me if it sounds as bullshit to you as it does to me. So I'll throw this out. If you're the guy who came up with the rabbit or the squirrel or whatever the fuck it's called technique, and I've got this wrong, and it's a good technique, and it's a viable tactical solution, I invite you to call me, 757-620-2878, or send me a text or send me an email, Rick, R-I-C, at agdefsol.com, and tell me what this is all about. And if you want, you can come sit in one of these two chairs and explain to everybody what we don't get. But I got from coming from a credible source who got it from 3 other credible sources that this is what's going on. And having worked around some of these folks, I can't go, well, they're nah. Now, here's the thing that happens. I've seen this happen on more than one occasion. A well-meaning person with no legitimate real-world experience in doing what you're doing, whatever it is, building clearing, hopping out of an airplane, whatever the fuck it is, they've only ever done it in the training realm that they did, and they go to the gym and they're fit and they're all inked up, and so they're fucking badasses. And they every time they go and shoot quals, they always shoot above 90. And so they've come up with this because they've never done an opposed or likely opposed entry on a building. Because if you talk to anybody who's done any of that shit for a living for any amount of time, they'll go, no. No. And you and I grew up when we started doing CQC. Rats on the wall was what we did, right?
Right.
And then it became, moderate penetration, and then it came to limited penetration with only 3 people in the room. When we first started doing CQC, everybody but the guy on the hall and the guy on the 6 came in the room, however big the room was, and ran down the fucking walls, and then came out. And it's evolved. It's never evolved to, hey, I'm going to run in that room, and when people shoot at me, you shoot them. Let me ask you something. Since we're talking about 2-man building clearing, because this is what they're talking about, and we'll back this up. All the time that I was a federal agent, very, very rarely, extremely rarely, did we ever go to interview anybody, and I did joint operations with NCIS on this, and CID and Air Force OSI. Very rarely did anybody already have body armor on when they had to go someplace. And unlike TV, if you're an NCIS agent, unless you're on a military base, right? If you're out in the Ville and things go to shit, you're on your cell phone calling 911. And when 911 dispatch answers the phone to the local law enforcement, now backup is 3.5 minutes out. It's not like when I was a police officer and me and Nick Kelly, both with radios, went into a building after somebody. If things went to shit, I keyed up my mic and the cavalry was coming, right? And everybody knew where I was and everybody knew who I was. That's not the case. So if you send somebody in to draw fire and they get hit, now you're by yourself in the gunfight. You're not even, and the fight's not over because the building's not cleared. And now you either have to do 1-man CQC, dun, or you're going to realistically spend your time trying to fucking plug holes in your buddy and exfil. Right. Yeah, so I can't, under any set of circumstance, the way this was described to me, understand how anybody who knows anything about what the fuck this is has come up with this. And I can't believe that an agency that's been around like NCIS has, and has a bunch of former legitimate cops in it. It's not like it's all fucking attorneys and accountants. There are a bunch of guys who used to be cops in NCIS. How the fuck none of these guys, well, at least 4 of these guys went, this is bullshit. 4 were like, oh, that's bullshit. I'm not doing that. I don't know how you guys signed off on that one. Call me, please. Let me know.
So I'll go another one. So if anybody outside of NCIS is being exposed to this, right? The question is was this something organically they came up with? Is this spilled into some other organizations? Send us an email.
Yeah.
Right? info@agdefsol.com. Right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see what we're getting wrong.
Yeah.
Because I hope. Look, I hope we got this wrong.
Yeah.
But I doubt it.
Yeah.
not based on,
Yeah.
right. The people and right. It's a credible backstory.
Yes.
Right. So, but crazy, crazy, just kind of crazy out there.
Butt fuckery.
Yeah.
Told you that was coming in.
You told me it was coming in.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week. Because it was just kind of more of a rant than anything else. There's some demos, but it's hard to even close up because I'm just, my brain's still trying to wrap my head around this whole thing. So
yeah,
but
I mean, I am almost at a loss for words. It's just crazy.
Yep. So it'll certainly be out before April 1st, so nobody will think that it's a joke. So,
yeah.
Anyway, because obviously if it was released on April 1st, everybody would be like, yeah, this is
oh, absolutely.
You hear what those guys came up with? Yeah.
It's the rabbit program, squirrel or the woodchuck or whatever the fuck.
So, hey, stay safe out there. No one-man CQC. No freaking rabbiting into a building and getting shot at. Remember, if that's what you and your partner want to do, just do rock, paper, fuck you. I'm not doing that. All right. So we'll see you next week.
Be safe. Hope you found this entertaining or cathartic. Thanks for the information, guys. Be safe out there. You know who you are. Yeah.
That's fucking insane. Yeah. Fucking insane. What kind of lunatic in their right mind came up with that kind of...
Somebody who doesn't know.